today we are going to be doing something extremely exciting for myself, as this is something that I've always said should be probably the first modification you should do to, well, not just the 300ZX, but in my opinion, probably any 90s turbo Japanese legend vehicle, even some 80s, because that's what we're going to be doing it on today. I'm taking everything I've learned from my 300ZX build and putting it into my Supra build. Today we're going to be installing an ECUMaster Classic on my mostly stock 87 Toyota Supra. Now you're probably asking, why are you worrying about the computer when it's a stock car? Because it's on a computer from 1986. Can you imagine trying to work on a computer from 1986?
Enhance. Enhance.
Just print the damn thing.
I mean, what's even cooler about this, I've never actually seen one of these in person. Look how small that is. My Haltech Platinum is easily about twice this size. So we got a built-in, I think it's a 3 or 4 bar map sensor. I don't remember offhand. And we got a USB A to USB A plug, which is kind of unusual, but again, this is an older unit. The ECUMaster Black is a newer one. However, I didn't need all the features that the Black had, and this was actually at a killer deal thanks to my buddies over at 813 Performance. Shout out Neil. Huge thank you for that, because I ended up also getting this guy. This is the plug and play adapter, which goes into that, which is kind of funny because as you can see, this plug and play adapter is actually larger than the unit itself, but it needs a plug to plug into the factory harness. So that's probably why it's so big. Also, we got traditional Mac valve for boost control. I probably won't be installing that today. However, we'll see how much time we have. And then I got a traditional GM intake air temp sensor, which I also looked into it a little more and found out I don't actually need this, because you are running the stock MAF sensor, which there's a good chance I probably will for a while yet. The MAF sensors always have a built-in intake air temp sensor. So we'll probably run the factory MAF sensor for a little while, and I'll wire this in at a later date. And then we are going to wire in this guy. This is a LSU 4.2 Bosch O2 sensor. And again, once this ECU is installed, I can pretty much install any sensor, any conversion I want to in this car. I know traditionally a lot of people like to run a air fuel controller with the Lexus MAF with bigger, I think 550cc injectors out of like a Subaru or DSM, I think it was. We're not gonna go through any of that. I'm installing this ECU, and then if anything, we're gonna probably install some older R35 coil packs, which I had in my Z at one point that I swapped out that I didn't need to. And then we're gonna install, like, we can do like a crank trigger wheel here. We can do away with the MAF sensor and install a custom piping on that. It's just smooth sailing once you get this piece out of the way, because everything after this works perfectly with this, and you can calibrate this to do whatever you want. Ultimately, we want this car to just be a nice factory running weekend cruiser. It's not going to be a fully built animal powerhouse like my Z. This is something I want to be able to just hop in, make an easy 450, 500 horsepower. It's a R154 trans already. So with that said, let's start to installing this guy. Okay, so first order of business, glove box has to come out, factory ECU's up here, and yeah, let's just start pulling it all apart. This is something different for me because I've never removed one of these. There we go. All right, glove box is out. Wow, this thing must, this is why so many people are missing this stuff here, huh? Or at least poked around at it. Wow, that is old and crusty. Out with the old. Oh my God, no fucking way. I have the wrong harness. No, you gotta be kidding me.
2 weeks later.
Okay, finally, it's been a very, very long week for me. Actually, it's been about 2 weeks now. So funny thing is I actually ordered this adapter harness for the ECUMasters back in, well, it was like Black Friday sale. So somewhere around November, October was when I actually ordered it. However, for some reason, I ordered the later model year Mark III Supra adapter harness. I messaged them, see if they could help me out. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you a store credit or something like that. So I ordered another one. And then the next one I got turned out to be the wrong one. So this time I found the number, so I called them, and Caleb at ECUMaster was able to help me out. He ended up sending me just the black harness. So shout out, dude, if you're watching this. Thank you so much, because holy cow, what, I mean, it's my own fault. I'll take full responsibility for messing up not once, but twice on ordering this plug and play harness. So with that said, I finally got it in today. It's late right now. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in and see if we can actually get the car up and running on this tonight. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna go ahead and try to install the O2 sensors. Hopefully this won't take too long to actually set up and just get it up and running, but you know, we'll see what happens. Honestly, right now, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants because I don't know what my air fuels are gonna look like. So let's get this thing in the car and see what happens. Okay, so important note here, if you follow the ECUMaster's online instructions, if you are running a sequential fuel injection, you do have to switch over one of the outputs for the main relay off of injector 4, I believe it is. So if you go to turn the key on, it'll automatically just dump fuel into injector 4 and could hydrolock your motor. So just be sure to make some adjustments and follow the instructions closely. But for now, we are plugged in, we are set. I am going to run a vacuum line from under the hood to in here and see what happens. Hopefully, maybe we can get some fire under the hood here. Alrighty, let's just plug that into there, like so. Pull a little bit more through. We're gonna leave some slack in it because it's probably gonna be pulled back through. Funny enough, this is the exact same hose which was running my Z for the longest time until I switched over to the 5-bar map sensor. So same hose, just reused there, like so. And then ignition status disconnected. State. Oh, there we go. New device detected. Please enter device name. All projects will be saved in directory. You know what? We're just gonna call it Mark III. There we go. So what I'm looking for on here is I really want to see RPM and to make sure my cam angle sensor is being read. Throttle position sensor. Okay, that works. Got map sensors at 105 kPa, so that should drop, I believe. Yeah, that should drop. VE should drop, and this should go to about 1 to 200. Let me see here. Okay, so we're on to something. We're seeing RPM. Now, theoretically, you would think that a base map should at least start the car. It probably won't run very well, but it should at least start the car, right? Obviously, that's not the case. However, I'm assuming that all the sensors are set up appropriately. The timing is set appropriately. And by timing, I mean not necessarily base timing with a timing light, because that's already been done. I haven't messed with that at all with this car. My theory is to basically add more fuel. So I have here the cranking menu here, and we have cranking fuel. So it's probably right about 40 degrees Celsius right now. I'm gonna go ahead and grab everything from, it's probably less than that. We're gonna grab 50 degrees on down, and we're just gonna hit plus maybe like 3 times. Yeah, that looks about right. Let's see what happens here. Key, ignition. Oh, it works! Yeah! That's freaking cool. Let me see what I can pull up here. I don't know. Okay. 1,000 RPM idle. I don't have an O2 sensor anywhere. This is my, let's go to my fuel table. So we got map, I got my VE table here. I'm gonna have to adjust all this and set it all up, but I'm just happy it's running. IAT is 34 degrees Celsius, so we were pretty close with that. Yeah. Ooh. Wow. Okay. I feel like that's really rich. Okay, so one more thing I realized. I'm going to rev it up here, but if you look at the TPMS, it's not moving. So I think I need to adjust and rescale my TPS. So I need to find my throttle position, wherever that might be. Okay, here we go. TPS setup, okay. So let's drop this to 0.4. No, okay, so that's not right. All right, so we need 0.5. No, okay. Okay, that works out really cool. So it's instantaneous. Holy crap. All right, let's start this again, see if it'll restart. Yeah. Okay, so I need to add more fuel right now. All right, let's try this again. All right, yeah, we're gonna need a little bit more fuel through there. Now, hey, I like it. One little step at a time, guys. One little step at a time. So now I can rev it up without it getting stuck in like a rev hang where it goes whoom, 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 because it is now recognizing the TPS. So let's go ahead and turn this thing off. I'm gonna push it back inside. We're gonna get back on this tomorrow. This is so cool. Weird. I went into this almost completely blind, and this is working out freaking fantastic. I'm pumped. All right, let's shut this thing up, close the car up. I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, y'all, we are back here today. I'm getting a very late start to today. Long story short, I was unable to work on the car this morning. However, I was able to work together this harness for my O2 sensor. Now, the O2 sensor that comes in the car is a narrowband O2 sensor, meaning that it can only read, I don't know the exact measurements, but it's within like 1 point of Stoic, which is 14.7. So with that, we are switching it over to a LSU 4.2 wideband sensor so that it can read anywhere from, I believe it's 10.9 up to 19.1. However, I have one major problem. I just went to install my O2 sensor, and if you look at it, it's a 2-bolt flange style oxygen sensor. So we've got 2-bolt flange adapter on the way. I'm going to be installing that this week. But for today, we're gonna take the car around the block and see how it drives with my my kind of makeshift tune that I threw together, well, really last night. Okay guys, so I finally got my laptop set up here. We are in the Supra. I had to do a few quick changes here. I'm gonna go over them really quickly with you. We're gonna go ahead and crank the car up, see what she does. Let's see, yeah, I guess it's connected. A little bit of an extended crank there. We are definitely at a high idle here. I'm gonna drop that down. Looks like this is the target idle RPM. Wow, that is really high. All right, why don't we drop this? Okay, one more thing I'm adjusting here. This is my basically duty cycle of the idle air control valve. So what I'm doing here is I'm dropping this. I'm targeting 889 RPM. So I'm dropping this and I'm watching that. As you can see, that should put us right about, let me add a little bit more in. So for some reason, my electrical fans that I previously had wired in were no longer turning on. So what I'm having to do is basically rewire it. And in doing so, I'm not sure if you can really see down here. So pretty much I have the wire running through. This is my ground circuit to my relay. However, I realized that there's already a wire coming out of here going into here. I don't know what it's for, but according to my ECU, it's not actually doing anything. So I'm gonna have to figure something out here in a second, but I just wanted to show you guys what I'll probably end up doing here. So we're just gonna crimp this right here. And then, basically, there's a wire going into auxiliary 1 and 2. Whatever this pin is right here is open. Make sure you remove the yellow thing first. Then you can plug this right in. Goes in what appears to be sideways, but all the way, and that's it. Now this guy can go right back on top like so. What I'll probably end up doing is cutting it again back here and then adding in like a secondary Deutsch connectors. So we're just going to go straight to aux 3, which is G5, which is the pin that I put it in, and we'll just select that one. Sorry guys, I have got to Americanize this control unit. Imperial America. Alright, 195 degrees. That makes sense to me. I was pretty close. What did I say? 92, 93 degrees Celsius? Something like that. We're good. This is about what we want it to be. However, I definitely don't want the hysteresis to be 16 degrees. That's outrageous. So we'll do 9 degrees on that. Okay guys, so the fans are wired in. I ended up daisy chaining them together to run off of the same power and ground. It's not going to hurt anything to run it that way. It might, if anything, they might kick up speed a little bit slower than previously, but they both should still see the same current and the same voltage across the wires. What I changed on here to make sure that they were working, it won't do me any good to turn the car on and show you guys because I already did it anyways. Basically all I did was drop the activation temperature down below like 50 degrees because it's like 80 right now. Made sure they turned on, bumped it back up to 194 where I want it to turn on, and made sure it turned off. Plain and simple. We're going to finish this up for tonight, and then I'm going to have to get back to this later on this week. So if you guys can at all, I'd greatly appreciate you if you subscribed or at least hit the like button down there. Means the world to me, helps keep me going. I've been posting YouTube videos at least one a week for the last year straight. That is a huge feat for anyone in my position just starting out on YouTube. This is a lot of work every single week between editing the videos, doing the work on the cars. So thank you to everyone that spends the time to watch because it really does mean a lot to me. Okay, so you guys have been hearing me talk about the narrowband oxygen sensor in this car pretty much this entire video. I didn't know for sure if I was going to put this into this video, but it's kind of at this point a bare necessity when putting in an ECUMaster ECU because it's really difficult to tune the car when you have no idea what your air-fuel ratios are. With that said, I said before that I made my own basically oxygen sensor harness here. This is a 5 wires coming out of here, and then this is an LSU 4.2 oxygen sensor which I will be installing. Pretty much I'm going to shove this through the little grommet in the firewall and then start plugging these wires into the ECU. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do this because I already have the vacuum line for the oxygen sensor going through that same rubber grommet. So I don't know if I'm just going to make the hole a little bit bigger and shove this through as well, just like I did the vacuum hose, or maybe just cut a slit in it and then re-put it back into the hole. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Re-put it. You get what I'm saying. If you're curious at all how to shove wires through an engine bay, if you have something like a long metal rod, I'm going to use my stethoscope because this is actually all I got. Basically, we're just going to take this and then tape it. And that's it. Alrighty, so we got a little hole right there already. Just going to go to town and poke this one right on through as well. There we go. Alright, so I'm not going to lie, I had to retape it a couple times, but you get the picture. Let's see here. Oh, dude, we are perfect. Your boy is good. Your boy is real good. And those two sensors just gonna loop right around here and probably chill right here. Okay, so we got the wire shoved in through the firewall here. Now it's just a matter of, well, pinning them into the ECU. Now as for how the wiring goes, this is what I'm working with right here. I don't know if it'll focus. I'll just put a little clip of it right here in this video so you guys can just go off that, screenshot it, whatever you need to do. I'm gonna go ahead and pin that all into the ECU pins, and then I'm gonna let you know where I put the 12 volt pin because I don't actually have an idea of where to wire in the 12 volt from right here. So let me go ahead and pin these in and I'll get right back with you. Might as well go ahead and remove this thing, I guess. fresh gasket. Should probably put a little bit of, we'll just tighten it down really good, that's all. Oh no, you guys, there's more to this. I'm gonna have to drill this out, which is gonna have to happen tomorrow. Okay, you guys, the wideband oxygen sensor is officially in the car and working 100%. Our cooling fans are working and wired into the ECU, so the ECU triggers the cooling fans to turn on at 195 degrees and they turn off at about 186 degrees Fahrenheit. If you must know, well, the fan wiring was kind of, well, it's custom. Like, it's basically your generic fan wiring. You find 12 volt, you wire in the relay, you send the ground back to the ECU. I didn't really show that on here. However, the big thing that I feel like I need to show you guys outside of the oxygen sensor, which I wired in the other day, is where I ended up wiring in the 12 volt switch source at. So for the wideband sensor's 12 volt switch power, I ended up running it over here. There's a little panel right here. You pull this off and I have a add-a-fuse plugged into my ECU fuse slot. I'm just gonna show you on here because this is probably easier. It is wired into the engine fuse 15 amp. So I put an add-a-fuse in there. I left the engine fuse at 15 amps and I added in a 5 amp fuse on top of that basically. So it's switched power, it turns on with the key. There's no funky wiring or anything like that. And that wire runs across through here and then under to the ECU over there on the floor. I tried wiring it in a couple other different ways, and for some reason, like, I wired it into the ECU 12 volt switch power and my fuel pump kept wanting to prime as I turned the key off. And then I wired it into a couple other things and it kept wanting to switch different relays on and off, like after I turned the key off. It was really weird. So basically I wired it into that 12 volt switch right there and everything's been working just fine. So that's pretty much gonna do it for the install process of my ECUMaster ECU. We got the wideband sensor wired in to measure air-fuel ratio, and also with the wideband oxygen sensor, now I can go ahead and set the ECU up to auto-tune. Also, along with the oxygen sensor, I wired in my fans. So I've always had electrical fans on this car. I've since wired them in, and the ground at the ECU turns on the fan relay, which the fan relay sends power to both the fans. So we should be all set with that. I'm gonna hop in the car right now. We're gonna go for a little bit of cruise, get some light tuning in, maybe dial in the air fuels with the auto tune feature, see how that all plays out, because I've never actually tuned on ECUMaster before, so this is all new to me. But I'm glad you guys are here for it. Be sure to stick around for the next video, because we're gonna be tuning this thing. I'm eventually going to be installing a Mac valve to turn up the boost on the factory CT26 Turbo. And if you didn't know, once this factory CT26 gets pushed beyond its limits or just too hard, I'm eventually going to take it out, send it off to my boys at Boost Lab, and they're gonna give it the works for me and give it back, and hopefully we'll be able to push this turbo past 400 horsepower with ease. Okay, so before this video's up, what do you say we go ahead and get a little bit of driving in on it now that we got working oxygen sensor and working fans? Really just see how she runs. I'm excited to see where this ends up because this is awesome. This is something kind of new for me because I've never put a standalone on a mostly stock car. Yeah, it's good. The Supra is back, you guys. And it's going to be better than ever. I am so pumped for this. So stick around for the next video, you guys. If you aren't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button for me. I greatly appreciate every single one of y'all. We're gonna be tuning this car in the next video coming up. We'll be really dialing it in, adding in the boost, getting the drivability down, putting some power to it, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get the Mac valve thrown in here and we'll start turning up the boost. I think this is gonna work out really well for us. So stick around, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button for me. I greatly appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all next time.